It was a Tuesday, just another day. The sun had risen, casting a golden hue over the bustling city. People were heading to work, children were off to school, and the rhythm of life was in full swing. The air was filled with the usual sounds of honking cars, chattering pedestrians, and the distant hum of city life. People were going about their lives, unaware of the horror that was about to unfold. In parks, families enjoyed the morning sun, while in cafes, friends caught up over coffee. The city was alive, vibrant, and seemingly invincible. Live on their television screens, the world would watch in disbelief. Families gathered in their living rooms, cafes filled with patrons glued to the screens, and offices where employees took a moment to catch up on the news. The stage was set for an unforgettable moment. It began as a regular news bulletin, traffic updates, weather forecasts, local events. The anchors, with their practiced smiles and reassuring voices, delivered the day's routine information. It was the kind of broadcast that people half listened to while going about their morning routines. Nothing out of the ordinary. The newsroom buzzed with the usual activity. Journalists typed away at their desks, editors reviewed stories, and producers ensured everything was running smoothly. It was just another day in the world of news. The news anchor, a seasoned professional, was calm, composed, ready to deliver the day's headlines. Years of experience had prepared them for any situation, or so they thought. Little did they know, the next few moments would challenge everything they had ever known about live broadcasting. Little did anyone know, this broadcast would etch itself into the annals of television history, for all the wrong reasons. The calm facade of the newsroom would soon be shattered, and the world would be left to grapple with the shocking events that unfolded live on air. This was not just another day. It was a day that would be remembered for its unprecedented and chilling turn of events. The studio was abuzz. Producers, cameramen, sound technicians, and makeup artists were busy. A well-oiled machine working in perfect sync. The atmosphere was electric, charged with the energy of a live broadcast. In the heart of it all sat the news anchor, a picture of poise and professionalism. She adjusted her earpiece, glancing at the teleprompter, ready to deliver the day's news. Outside, the world went about its business, oblivious. It was a day like any other, or so they thought. The news anchor calmly read through the day's headlines, covering the usual mix of local politics, community events, and weather updates. It was a typical day in the newsroom, with the anchor maintaining a composed demeanor as she delivered the news to the viewers at home. The studio lights shone brightly, and the teleprompter scrolled smoothly, guiding her through the script without a hitch. Everything seemed routine, almost mundane, as the broadcast continued without any indication of the chaos that was about to erupt. Then, a breaking news alert flashed across the screen, interrupting the regular programming. The sudden change in graphics and the urgent tone of the alert music immediately grabbed everyone's attention. The newsroom buzzed with activity as producers and reporters scrambled to gather information. The anchor's expression shifted from calm professionalism to focused intensity as she prepared to deliver the breaking news. A robbery at a local jewelry store had just been reported. The details were still coming in, but initial reports indicated that armed robbers had stormed the store, taking employees and customers hostage. The situation was tense, and the outcome uncertain. The anchor relayed this information with a sense of urgency, knowing that the viewers were hanging on her every word. Live footage showed police surrounding the building, their vehicles forming a perimeter around the store. Officers were seen taking strategic positions, their weapons drawn, ready to respond to any threat. The tension was palpable, both on the screen and in the newsroom, as everyone waited to see how the situation would unfold. The anchor's tone shifted, reflecting the urgency of the situation. Her voice was steady, but there was an underlying tension that conveyed the gravity of the events. Suddenly, the unthinkable happened. The newsroom fell silent as everyone watched the live feed in shock. A deafening explosion ripped through the jewelry store, sending a massive shockwave through the area. The blast was so powerful that it shattered windows in nearby buildings and sent debris flying in all directions. The live feed captured the moment of the explosion, the screen shaking violently as the camera struggled to stay focused. The screen filled with smoke and debris, obscuring the view of the store. Screams pierced the air as bystanders and hostages alike reacted to the sudden and violent turn of events. The chaos was overwhelming, and the sense of fear and confusion was palpable. The live feed went haywire, capturing the chaotic scene as it unfolded. The camera struggled to maintain focus amidst the smoke and debris, the image flickering and distorting as the chaos continued. The newsroom was in a state of shock, the usual order and control replaced by a sense of helplessness and disbelief. The anchor, visibly shaken, struggled to maintain her composure. Her hands trembled slightly as she gripped the desk, her eyes wide with shock. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her voice as she continued to report on the unfolding events. The gravity of the situation was not lost on her, and she knew that millions of viewers were relying on her to provide information and reassurance. Her voice trembled as she reported the unfolding events, the emotion clear in her tone. She provided updates on the situation, relaying information from reporters on the ground and official statements from the police. The newsroom was a flurry of activity, with producers and reporters working tirelessly to gather and verify information. The world watched in horror, glued to their screens as the events unfolded in real time. Social media was abuzz with reactions, people sharing their shock and disbelief at the unthinkable events. The sense of collective fear and uncertainty was overwhelming, as everyone waited for more information and hoped for the safety of those involved. Chaos ensued in the studio. The once orderly environment had descended into a whirlwind of confusion and panic. Papers were scattered everywhere, and the usual calm demeanor of the staff was replaced with frantic movements and raised voices. The air was thick with tension as everyone tried to grasp the gravity of the situation unfolding before them. Producers scrambled to make sense of the situation. They huddled in small groups, their faces etched with worry and disbelief. Phones rang incessantly, and the sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the studio. Each producer was trying to gather information, verify facts, and decide the next steps. The pressure was immense, and the stakes had never been higher. The director yelled instructions, his voice laced with panic. He stood at the center of the control room, surrounded by screens displaying the unfolding events. His usually composed demeanor was shattered as he barked orders, trying to coordinate the chaos. Every second counted, and the weight of responsibility bore heavily on his shoulders. The anchor, still live on air, fought to regain control of the narrative. She took deep breaths, trying to steady her voice and maintain a semblance of professionalism. Her eyes darted between the teleprompter and the chaotic scene behind the camera. She knew millions were watching, relying on her to provide clarity amidst the confusion. "Oh my God, this is really happening!" a voice cried out from the background, captured by the live microphone. The raw emotion in that exclamation cut through the noise, resonating with everyone who heard it. It was a moment of unfiltered human reaction, a stark reminder of the gravity of the situation. The raw emotion, the sheer disbelief in the voice, sent chills down the spines of viewers worldwide. Phone lines exploded, people called in, desperate for more information, seeking reassurance, or simply needing to share their shock and fear. The studio's switchboard was overwhelmed, unable to keep up with the flood of calls. Viewers flooded social media with their reactions. Hashtags related to the event began trending within minutes. Tweets, posts, and comments poured in from every corner of the globe. People shared their thoughts, fears, and prayers, creating a digital tapestry of collective emotion. The virtual world was abuzz, mirroring the chaos and confusion of the real world. Shock, disbelief, horror. These emotions were etched on the faces of people everywhere. In homes, offices, and public spaces, individuals and groups gathered around screens, their expressions mirroring the turmoil they felt inside. The gravity of the situation was sinking in, and the world seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. The world was united in its terror, witnessing a tragedy unfold in real time. Borders, languages, and cultures faded into the background as humanity collectively faced the unfolding events. It was a moment of shared vulnerability, a reminder of our interconnectedness. As the story continued to develop, the global audience remained glued to their screens, united in fear and hope. The live feed flickered back to the studio. The anchor, her face pale but composed, struggled to maintain her professionalism. Her eyes betrayed the horror she had just witnessed. "We apologize for the graphic nature of the images you just witnessed," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "We are still trying to gather information about the situation." The world waited with bated breath, desperate for answers. What had just happened? Who was behind it? And what did it mean? As the initial shock subsided, a wave of grief and anger swept the nation. People took to the streets, demanding answers. Politicians offered condolences and condemned the act. But words rang hollow in the face of such senseless violence. The incident dominated headlines worldwide. Experts weighed in, analyzing the event from every angle. Security measures were immediately heightened at public gatherings. The world had been shaken to its core. In the aftermath of the bombing, a full-scale investigation was launched. Authorities worked tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to the explosion. The jewelry store was cordoned off, becoming a grim reminder of the tragedy. The investigation revealed a complex web of motives. The perpetrators, driven by a warped ideology, had planned the attack meticulously. Their aim was to instill fear and disrupt the peace. The shocking live broadcast incident served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life. It forced us to confront the dark realities of a world grappling with extremism and violence. The incident also highlighted the power and responsibility of the media. The live broadcast, while shocking, brought the horrors of the event to the forefront, sparking conversations about security, terrorism, and the role of media in the 21st century. The shocking live broadcast incident left an indelible mark on television history. It underscored the immediacy and rawness of live broadcasting, its ability to transport viewers directly into the heart of breaking news events. But it also served as a chilling reminder of the power of live broadcasting to amplify fear and trauma. The incident sparked debates about journalistic ethics, the need for sensitivity and restraint when covering tragedies, and the potential impact of graphic imagery on viewers.